agenda for today?
I think we're just doing a recap, and
Okay.
then if we get to it, which we haven't yet, I think Chris had a little bit to say just on our lore thing, even though it hasn't been quite read yet, so people may not have the context for that, but he did have some notes on that. And then also, I mainly just want to go over what is normal combat, meaning like how do you engage in combat with another person? Because although we had went over what a game day is, we still never really got to what actual LARP combat is at our game. So somebody that has no idea what has been to our game, some of this probably sounds just kind of all over the place, because like I think if they understood how we actually trade hits or engage in combat with each other, they might everything else might make a little bit more sense anyway, because we always kind of talk as though the person listening already LARPs with us, and although that may be true, my goal is to get people listening that don't necessarily
Yeah, that's
LARP
fair.
with us. So.
Yeah, I'm down with that. So we want to start with a recap?
Yeah, I guess so, sure. It was really good. This is the first snow. The first snow of the year was this. Happened last night in the middle between. I let my dogs out at like midnight. And then I got up at like 6 in the morning or 7. It was just daylight.
This was 2 nights ago, right?
It was 2 nights
Yeah,
ago.
what is today's date, too? I never did.
Today's the
Today's
13th.
So November 13th, 2022.
It was the 11th into the 12th. Because I didn't know anything about it. I woke up, I actually pulled up my phone and looked on Facebook, and I saw all these pictures of snow everywhere from people that were like pretty close to me, and I was like, there's no way.
Yeah, no way.
There's no way. Like if it was 75 degrees the day before.
Yeah, it was wild. It dumped like a whole foot or something, or close to it. In some places.
Now you're being dramatic.
Come
but-
on.
Oh,
Dude, it
jeez.
was 7 inches.
No, it was.
Get
I had
him
like,
the crown. Jeez, for the drama.
yeah, dude, it was like
queen.
2 or 3 inches of snow where I
it
was.
was like 3 to 4 inches.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot. I don't
This
know.
guy's like, we had 3 feet of snow, people.
It was a lot. Maybe it was sitting on top of the leaves and stuff. You know, and it made it elevated.
okay.
You know what it was? He was using the other measuring stick.
Oh, yeah.
You know that
Makes
one?
sense. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, nonetheless, yeah, the snow.
3
it-
foot?
I'll admit this. I will say this. It was cold today. It was a little cold, but everybody that was there fought through it. So.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a pretty good turnout for a cold. That's what I was going to get to, too, is that we had a pretty good turnout for it being cold.
Yeah, I didn't tally the total numbers, but it probably was close to 20, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's where we're averaging right now. So, and even with a cold day as it was, I think the high was maybe 27.
It was cold.
So, you
I
know,
don't know. I don't have a number for you. I could just tell you that it was cold.
And also, if we ever do have a problem with people coming out during those times, you guys know that's the conditions by which I set achievements, right? Like, so if there's a day where the numbers are really low.
assumed that we should have got achievements today.
Right. Probably achievements.
What are achievements?
There
Well,
was one.
There are
that-
achievements, but you also get a slice of cheese. Yes.
Oh, bro.
Do you remember what the one was called where you would have to come out in fresh snow, the unbroken snow?
Oh, yeah, it was whiteout.
Whiteout? Was that, what it was
That
called?
was the blizzard one. That was the blizzard one called whiteout.
We
You
couldn't
couldn't
see.
see a foot in front of your face. You technically were considered that you got whiteout. It was an achievement that you got if you came out and it was blizzard, basically.
Mhm. Yeah, that one was if it was snowing at the time.
Yeah.
And you couldn't see through it so far. Yeah. There's another one though that was on like the first snow of the year, because that is a big one. Sometimes we take a big hit on
Yeah.
Yeah.
number turnout, so I turned it into achievement. So I don't know. Trade secret for free.
Let's see. What did we do? So we had the costume contest.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And then we just
First place today
Sloan.
was Sloan. Yeah.
We had a
in
different
second
costume
place
this time,
we
too,
had
than usual.
Aridin, right? Aridin and Pora.
Yep.
And then in third place, we had a couple people tied for third place. We had Lucian again, who always comes in a good costume, seems like, and
Argus.
Argus Greenwood. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So we had some good costumes today too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sloan's costume was a little bit different than what he usually has. So.
Yeah. I like how you told everyone that was not a beard. It was definitely a beard.
You said it wasn't a beard?
No, you said it wasn't a beard, didn't you?
No. Isaac was asking if it was a beard.
Oh,
or
okay.
Argus.
Looked like a beard to me. So
And then he said it's either that. I said, well, it's Cthulhu, I think. And he said,
I think it was actually supposed to be Cthulhu.
just
and then
that
Isaac
brown
said it's either
Cthulhu.
that
Yeah.
or Dr. Zoidberg.
That's fair.
Yeah, okay.
That's fair.
I mean, that does
Either
look
way, it
very
works.
similar. Yeah.
So
Yeah, and we played. We didn't play as many games today.
no, we got some in. We got what we did. We played Minion,
And Scramble.
Last
a
man
team
standing.
battle.
Oh, yeah, the team battle was the big one that wasn't, kind of like popularly it wasn't necessarily a popular thing to do because we rolled on
Anything that we do that's a little bit different than the norm, people resist.
that. Yeah, that's true.
So we have to get through those games. Just is what it is, and eventually, the hope is that we can make some of those games as cool as the other games that we play somewhat regularly. So
Where people want to play them.
yeah,
And I did get a video of that, so I can download it to you. So maybe you can put that on at least a little chunk of our
Actual
podcast.
footage on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, our editor will, hopefully. But
Oh,
yeah, you can.
We have
even-
an editor now.
Yeah, I think so.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how it works
Oh.
out.
hopefully
But-
it works. Yeah.
Yeah. Way to fill me in, guys. Jeez.
It's
leaving.
in the need to know.
Well,
loop.
you're fielding.
I'm
You're
fielding.
Yeah, you're fielding.
None
now.
of us could talk today, so. So with that, I think all of us,
Okay,
Wow.
we all get it.
we all get
Wow. Fair enough.
it. I mean, except Lord Rainwalker that just sits over there and gives
Yeah,
us.
we
the
don't
lore.
have a lot of commentary going on from that side of the
I know.
table right now.
How does it feel to be a lord?
I mean, I bumbled through my Lord's initiation. I was
happens.
actually quite missing my words in that case. But I took that step to see if other lords that are calling themselves lords would actually step forward and take their lord's initiation as well. That way we can actually get the clans established that we actually do have. But it seems like some of those people are lacking in the
Confidence.
confidence, to
Yeah.
step forward and actually
Or like
do that.
encouragement.
or the
like
encouragement,
They
yeah.
need
Yeah,
motivation.
but the
or-
thing is if you're going to be a lord, do you feel like you need to be encouraged? Because I
You
feel
shouldn't, no.
I would.
No.
I would have done taken the thing already if I was going to be a lord.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, shot taken. So if you're a lord listening to this podcast and you haven't taken your initiation to become a lord yet, apparently we all think you need to do that.
yeah,
The gauntlet
you're
has
getting
been
called
laid
out.
down.
Yeah, you've been called out. So, but yeah, I mean, I feel like today went pretty good, considering. I mean, like we had decent numbers. It played, I think, five total events maybe in the costume contest, and it seemed like everybody had a pretty good time considering how cold it was. And
I think we did a good job too, trying to move on. Like you were trying to make sure that we had another game going, even though we didn't play, like a crazy amount of
we still
games
played
or
like
something.
one per hour at least.
Yeah, it was good to get
Yeah.
that going, and I think everybody seemed like they were. Actually, I mean, I guess I don't know who it was that was unhappy with it, but it seemed like everybody was having a good time or
Yeah.
whatever. Was going at a better, pretty consistent pace. I think even if we just pick the game and then set like a timer for like 30 minutes for a break or whatever, and then immediately just start playing the game, whether people are ready kind of or not.
I don't think
They'll
we
jump
ever
on
had
board.
a moment today where there was a 30-minute break.
Oh,
Unless
yeah, that
you're
would've
like
been too long.
including us explaining the game and stuff like that, then of course it had been 30 minutes. But
No, it was rather quick. I'll be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
But you can almost just go from game to game to game. Is that what you're
almost,
saying?
yeah.
Okay.
And I did notice this too, and if we're talking about a recap of the day, something I do think needs to be said. For the first time today, we saw a clan go out and try to get some role play initiated out in campaign, and I think that's huge because there's basically been none of that to this point. Like I mean, literally none. And so I did appreciate that today, and I was trying to motivate people to go out there, although it seemed like they were kind of scared. There were some people that did go out there.
They
so-
immediately did pick up on it though. But you
Yeah.
can speak to that.
Yeah.
That was because you
Yeah, that was me. I brought our people out to the field so we could actually talk to each other separate, so I can actually pick out my second in command, and did that basically to try to get people to actually go out and campaign. And then I thank Lucian for actually going out and actually participating in that, because I mean he was the only one that actually did it, and I mean props to him. I mean,
Sure.
even though he was way outnumbered, I mean,
Right.
he still tried.
He was one of the first ones that asked. He
Yeah.
said, "Are they in campaign or whatever? They're like free to kill or whatever." And I was like, "Yeah, they're out there." So
Yep. So speaking on that, who did you choose as your second in command?
Oh, I chose Gregor.
Oh, okay.
We put it up to a vote, and Gregor won the vote because of him being more open-minded to some of the stuff that we've been doing, and also his experience is hard to pass.
Sure.
He can lead a clan. I've seen him do it before. So I feel like he is the best candidate for if I'm not there to actually lead my clan.
Cool.
So
All right.
Interesting. Cool.
Well, congratulations to Gregor being second in command.
Yeah.
So I mean that's cool.
Of and your clan name again?
The Black Rose.
Black Rose. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Is
cool.
it Black Rose or the
Black Rose.
Black Rose?
Yeah.
There's only one.
It's the
Yeah.
like the Black Rose.
Right.
So I mean, next thing you know, it's going to be the NFL Black Rose. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just
Seems like you're really grasping at straws over there.
I'm tired, dude.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I'm also going to call out some support that somebody bought a year's worth of membership today, and so that helps us a lot with financial support for Phlarp. And so I'm just going to shout them out. That was Aja.
Yeah.
Aja.
Yep.
Bought yearly membership today, which is cool.
Yeah.
So shout out to him. Thank you.
Awesome.
For
Good
support.
job. Aja. Is that how it's spelled?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
how it's
that's how it's
pronounced.
said.
I got corrected today because it's like it almost looks like AJ, like the way it's written.
Right.
So that's how I pronounced it. And like very quickly, it was like, it's Aja. I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay. Hey.
Yeah. Hey. I get them wrong once in a while.
Did you have to get out the shield and
I thought maybe I was gonna for a second. but
Right.
No, it was all good. It was all good. But yeah, it's Aja. He told me that today. So.
Okay.
Cool.
I mean that's awesome.
Yeah, and he's played with us for like a month or something, so that's cool.
Yeah.
And then I guess we played. What was it? What was the last game we played?
Scramble.
Was it
We played a
Scramble?
2-man scramble last,
yeah. Okay.
which was actually requested. To be honest with you, I
Wow.
didn't even roll that.
We've almost made it through all the events now, except for like a couple
Yeah.
that we need to play test still. or
Yeah,
whatever.
I captured the flag. I'm not looking forward to, but I think we can do some things to make it okay, especially right now. Right now, it won't be terrible. I don't think.
Yeah, I think
It'll be later on when it gets kind of difficult.
I think we may still have to make some changes to it, but it has changed a little bit too. So we'll have to see how well that will be enough to fix it. Some,
Okay.
Anyway,
We'll try it and get everybody all riled
people
up if
can
it doesn't work.
run again with it now. I think.
Were they not able to run before?
Yeah, before we were trying to slow them because they would just run and grab it and immediately
Sure.
run back. Now they can run with it, but it's going to be locked to the base. So you'll have to have like backup, unless you just happen to be alive and everybody else just died, and then you might be able to get the combination lock off to be able to free the flag, and then you can just take off. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see.
And hopefully the games, when we go back around this time, we will have made enough changes to them to make them all a little bit funner too, where they're not, nobody's scoffing at any of them or whatever, or
Sure.
scared of,
I don't
how
think we were
bad they're
that
gonna be.
far off from Bannerman working.
Yeah.
That was like one of the games that I think we think of when we think of failed games, but I feel like it was real close to working.
And which one is Bannerman? Is that the one where
The
you
baseball
go
diamond.
the baseball diamond
Yeah.
where you had to unlock it and then put it in the next
Yeah,
one?
I
put
think
the-
I think you lowered the time a little bit for the
Yeah.
defending team. A little bit, not a lot, a little bit.
Yeah, as I say, the biggest issue that I seen with that game was the actual the defending team trying to capture the flag. It was very hard for them.
It was too long.
because it
And
was way too long.
We also decided it was a little too easy for the people to capture the base. So even though it was kind of difficult, and I think what we're going to say from now on is there has to be one person holding the flag in the base, and then somebody else doing the combination.
Yeah, that seems like it might fix it quite a bit.
so that there's two that have to be there.
Yeah.
That
We
way
also-
that way they couldn't go from.
And
cap
and
to
I don't
cap.
mind talking about it now because he's here. I also was talking about how I feel like there was some strategic flaws in that particular game. If I am on a team with you, and it doesn't really matter who else, but I feel like in that particular game, at no point do you have any business picking up the flag.
I tried not to.
I know,
I was yelling at people to pick the flag up,
I know,
and they just
I know you
refused
were.
to do it. So.
But I think you get a couple. You as the leader of your team have to look around at your team and go, "Hey, if you or you have an opportunity
Yeah.
to pick up the flag, do it and do it immediately."
Well, in about towards the end when they were capping the last two bases, like I told those people to pick the flag up, stop just standing there. You're not doing anything. Pick
Yeah.
the flag up and hold the flag. And then they just sat there and didn't even defend themselves when they were getting attacked. So it's kind of hard with like certain people because they don't really know what to do most of the time when it comes to being overwhelmed with certain things. So I feel like they get a little overwhelmed with certain tasks. But like it is very difficult to try to manage some people without being very rude or hateful towards them. And it's not that like I'm being rude. It's I come off that way because of the way that I say it. And don't take that as me just yelling at you because I can. It's just that's how my voice comes out. And
no, you're a
it is
big
what it
loud
is.
guy.
Yeah.
We all understand that. And I understand what you're saying. I was just saying I feel like there were some things that could have been cleaned up in that game that would have made it work a lot better.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
So
Because the game, at the time, seemed a little offside, like a little offsided one way. Which I was saying, if we would have been on the other side, I think we would have been able to win.
Oh
too.
yeah.
Or the other team.
Yeah.
I was playing because people were sitting out and stuff. But yeah,
The only option was to try to capture the flag, and that option was taken away, which, medical emergencies happen, and, that kind of stuff, it does happen. So it was very hard in that situation to try to capture the flag with the time frame that we had to try to capture it.
yeah, and that time frame was one of the biggest problems. It was one of the first
Yeah.
changes we knew needed to be made. So,
but we have to, unfortunately, play those games to see what kind of
Oh,
changes
no,
the
I
games
know,
we make.
I know.
Yeah.
And it does get aggravating sometimes when you're on a side where that you're just you're trying to just beat the odds, but there's no way you're going to do it. And it's very difficult. That is one thing. That is very difficult to try to stay stay happy about knowing there's no way I'm doing this. There's no way I'm going to win it, and it's very, very difficult to stay happy about that.
sure.
And
Right.
Makes sense.
I'll be the first to say, towards the end, I stepped off. I was like, I got killed. They were at the last base, and I was like, there's no point in me rezzing. They're gonna capture it before I res. And I set out. There was no point. I had to do my bleed out. By the time I rezzed, they would have had it capped.
But that doesn't have anything to do with the game itself, as far as
No.
the game
It
itself
was
wasn't-
just
other than that
yeah.
timer, I guess, being
Yeah,
a
the
little
timer.
long.
That was it.
That makes sense.
You want
So,
to
yeah,
get?
what
Do
was-
you want to get suggestions out of the way now? Or?
Yeah, we can. Sure. Okay. It's either that or talk about how combat works, because
Well,
I think that's where we're to, because that was the recap, right?
Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah, we do the recap and suggestions, which I think there'll be less this week.
Yeah, if we do the suggestions first, we can just keep talking about combat until we run up, until we get
Whatever we're comfortable with. As far as
Yeah.
yeah, sure.
the time is where we want it to be. So I'm just passing these around a little bit. It was cool your brother came out today.
Yeah, I've
and
been trying to
actually
get him to
fought.
come out for a while. His major thing is, he's got some pretty bad medical problems, and I told him, it's best just to come out, even if you're just going to stand there. I mean, they need marshals even at that point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I told him
Definitely.
he could join my clan or whatever. of
Yeah.
magistrates
Yeah.
if he wanted to. I was telling Brandon the other day, I don't care if we got more marshals than players almost.
No,
I
seriously.
mean,
It'd be far easier to see stuff out on the field that one person or two people can't see.
And
Oh,
it-
100%. Because we've had players come up and basically that have been called out for not taking hits and stuff, and they're like, "Well, can you just watch me?" No. There's 30 people out here. You want me to just sit and focus on you the entire time? I literally can't do that.
Yeah, that's not fair to other players. Say that one player says, "Hey, can you just watch me?" And you decide, "Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that." And then the next player that comes up to you says the same thing because you guys wasn't watching, and that said player
Yep.
did that. You're,
And that's what I told him. I just said, well, I mean, there's however many people out here. I can't just focus on you.
Yeah.
You need to just do better about taking your hits. Is
Yeah.
what you need to do.
yeah, it's not hard.
I have some good ones actually.
I have pretty good ones too. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go ahead and just read this first one because it's real simple.
Sure.
It says, "Today was fun." So,
All right. Well,
Love that one.
I will meet you with I had fun.
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I will meet you with I had a really good time today and really enjoyed all the events.
Perfect.
Topper.
I will meet you with some self-deprecating criticism, non-Zelda fighting music.
That's fair.
That's
To be
on
fair,
me.
it did sound like carnival music. The one. I don't know which
Yes.
one it was.
I think
Even
it was the Song of Storms. I
yeah,
think is the
it
one
is
that it
because
was.
it just plays the same.
Yeah,
like,
it
8
played
notes over and over.
Yeah, consecutively, and it's just.
And really, the boss fight does that too. That one boss fight, it's like ding, 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 and it just keeps doing that same thing over and over. So I agree with this one. I will try to get some different music on there.
Speaking of that, I have a music suggestion. It's called Round Table Rival by Lindsey Sterling.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll put that.
I just have one that says more races, more campaign. Big thanks to Lucian for RPing campaign. So again, another
Perfect.
shout out to Lucian.
Sure.
Oh wow, cool.
That's the second time we've heard that. Good job,
Yes.
Lucian.
That's all in caps too.
It is.
I got a had a good time.
Hell
Wow.
yeah.
So there's no complaints today, I guess. This one just says, shout out to Angie Barrington from Harriet 51. North Davine and Eric were great.
Cool. Can I read that?
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
Did I read that correctly?
Yes, actually, that is correct. Angie Barrington is my personal stylist and does my hair. She gave me this wonderful job today. And I did tell her about the podcast last night, and she said that she will watch it. And I told her that since, she doesn't LARP or anything, I would give her a big shout out for this. I mean, look at my hair. It looks amazing today, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
it looks like great.
Is
Angie's listening, and
Where's her-
she'll-
I don't think this is an Angie problem. I think that headset smashing down your hair looks nice.
No, it's I definitely told her I'd give her a shout out.
is that the
So-
name of her place?
Yes, it's Harriet 51.
That's
Um,
awesome. Where's it located?
it's in Farmington, literally right across from the fire department. So if anytime she has a fire issue, all they have to do is run the hose from the firehouse straight to her shop.
I mean, fair.
Does that happen?
No,
Does this happen regularly?
no, that was the joke I made to her last night because I looked out the window. I was like, if anything happened, you're good. So she has that whole building, and her brother is going to be doing tattoos eventually.
Cool.
So she's going to have Harriet 51, and her brother's going to have the upstairs office, and she's going to have like a little hobby shop. So it's going to be awesome.
Sounds good.
Cool. Well, shout out to her.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Is that all we got?
Yeah, I think that's all the suggestion box.
Fantastic.
Nobody really had much as far as like.
Complaints or anything?
Yeah, to
Good.
go things we needed to go over. I was trying to think. It seemed like somebody said something. Oh, the packet thing. Do we need to talk about that at all?
That's up to you. I mean, have you made a decision on what you think as far as the packets are
So,
concerned?
Rand, you're the one who sent the comment,
Yeah.
correct? Or
Yeah.
commented on the video.
This, to be fair,
Mm-hmm.
before we really get into this was a thing before. Like, we had to have it so long. There had to be a tail of however long
Yes,
on the
yes, it
on
did.
the packets. The thrown weapons were supposed to look like thrown weapons. I think the only ones that are out there that are like actually like that right now are Seredniks, that are made correctly, which is just with foam and birdseed.
But I also don't
That's
think
it.
they're long enough with the dimensions that it has for thrown weapons, because the dimensions for thrown weapons is 6 to 14 feet, 6 to 14 inches.
I think it's 4. I think it's 4, but I can check right now.
Well, either way, yeah. I mean, I do think we should make some kind of emphasis on differentiating specifically between packets and thrown weapons. We'll start with that.
Can it?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna interject here and say why, because like I feel like it's just arbitrary if we don't.
Okay, well
Say why.
let me start with
Okay,
this.
go ahead.
I don't want to throw out anybody's name specifically, but there's a wizard out there that has very small packets.
Right.
And I have seen personally with my own eyes multiple times him actually hit people, and they just keep going, not because they like are not trying to take the hits, but they don't feel it.
Yeah.
Like it's not a big enough packet.
Yeah, and it's only like
And then he's yelling, "Hey, I got you, I got you, I got you!" And then there's like an argument's basically taking place
Yeah.
because they don't think he did, and it's tough. I don't see all of them.
oh
you
yeah.
know? So I do think that particularly that's an issue. That's why I think those need to be bigger. Anyway,
We're having a flyover.
Yep. And see the series of events, like what you were saying, is we started letting people use whatever in the beginning, and they were just chucking tennis balls as packets. They were just taking tennis balls without nothing, and just throwing them.
yeah, no, I get it, which is
And-
a problem.
Yeah, and it was too hard, so it was like hurting people and stuff basically, because you can wing the hell out of a tennis ball really hard.
Sure.
Yeah.
So then the rule was, well, let's put a tail on them, so that the tail, by the time you throw it really hard, is going to like drag it to where you can't throw it once they get so far away from you at them very hard, because the tail will slow it down essentially. And then the other problem was the reason why we did the thrown weapon thing started with people picking up spears or wizard weapons, wizard staffs, and then being like, well, I'm a warrior, so this just turns lethal when I pick it up. And they were kind of doing that like once I changed that, then we decided to go ahead and change, I think is the series of events that happened. We decided to go ahead and change the thrown weapon things, so people weren't interchanging between the two. Well, this is a magic packet, and then this is a thrown weapon. And, if I'm a warrior, I can just pick up a magic packet and use it like a thrown weapon. So, it was an attempt to differentiate between those things where people couldn't use You know, if you're gonna be a rogue and have thrown weapons, you shouldn't be able to pick up just whatever packets are laying on the ground and use them as thrown weapons. So we had to basically create, you know, dimensions and stuff, and I had to categorize it. And now, like you said, it's almost in the other direction. Sorry about my neighbor's like building something. So sorry about the background noise. But now it's almost the other way around, like you said, where they can't get hit by it because it's too small. But that not because it's within the rules. I guess if he had it within the rules. The problem is he's already got them, and he did ask me once, are these going to be okay? And I said, I guess so. Like I said, you know, yeah, they're all right. But I wasn't like, I didn't want to tell him no, basically, because that's all he had. And he had already bought them. And he bought a few of them.
But the big thing is everybody needs to realize.
So maybe that's on me, I guess.
But the big thing is everybody needs to realize that the rules are subject to change. Like, that is
True.
told from the very beginning.
Also, here's the big thing that I think of, just to get away from that specific thing that we were just talking about as far as the small packet thing or whatever. Another reason that I think that there needs to be a difference between throw weapons and packets is simply because of immersion. I don't like the idea of somebody throwing a tennis ball at me wrapped with a cloth and like what is that supposed to be? That ain't a knife. That's not a like what are you throwing at me exactly? That
rock.
seems a lot like a
Right.
magic weapon to me. Like
Yeah.
like so I actually like it whenever the weapons look like what they're supposed to be. And so I do think that there should be a difference between packets and thrown weapons personally.
It does say 6 to 14.
So that does seem long because
That does, yeah.
I mean, people make shurikens and stuff like that are like rounded. They're not going to be 6 inches long. That would be a freaking
Well, I mean, a
dinner
tennis
plate
ball.
you're throwing at
Do
somebody.
you think 4 is enough?
Maybe. I don't really know as far as that is concerned. I also feel like 14 inches is gigantic, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I have seen like big discs made
Yeah,
and stuff like
true.
that. So I guess
It's
that's
a really
okay,
hard
but-
thing to categorize. To be
Yeah, it
honest.
is. I would have to specifically go and make some thrown weapons to determine what's too short and what's not short enough or whatever. But I do feel like that probably needs adjusted. And specifically with that person that I didn't mention by name, but specifically with that person, maybe we have a conversation that just says, hey, this is clearly temporary. Like, you need to start working
And
towards...
phase them out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And let him use them until he gets the stuff phased out.
Yeah, and even if that's if
you think
I
the
can go buy
size-
a pack of tennis balls and put some cloth on them for them, like with
Yeah.
a tail, like that's not an issue.
Do you think quantifying them by like 3 dimensions or whatever is kind of a mistake? And maybe we could just say a certain weight and that's it? Like if they were heavier, would it matter that they're small?
No,
If they were heavy enough to feel the impact
Yeah.
or whatever, it wouldn't really matter.
Yeah, I think that'd be fine. I mean, personally.
we would have to figure out the weight. But
So
yeah,
then maybe we need to make a minimum weight.
that's
and
fair.
don't even worry about this other like height, width, and depth thing.
Okay, we can work on that.
Yeah.
I think that's going to take a little bit
Some experimenting to
more. But
determine.
with that being said, I think it turns out better. So
I agree. You know, if you have a specific weight, especially if it's being, you know, projected at you, a specific weight you're going to feel.
sure.
Because it's almost as if, you know, like Lord Rand, he uses buffers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost the same as the projection of him striking you as opposed to, you know, something else, like, say, a taped weapon. In the cold, you're going to feel that taped weapon no matter what.
True.
So with...
To be fair, in the cold, you're going to feel every weapon.
of
Yeah,
them.
you're going to feel every weapon, but that was going to be a little more because, you
Yeah.
know, it's that compactness. So if you have that weight of that projectile coming at you, you're going to feel it.
Yeah.
So I definitely agree with that.
I mean, speaking of that, Rand actually got hit in the head today with a thrown weapon.
Yeah, right in the temple.
Yeah. So how was I mean? So that's basically
With one of
almost
those little
worst
ones?
case scenario. Yeah. By well, no, not by those. It was by one of Sir Ednick's,
Oh yeah.
and it was thrown pretty good.
Oh, yeah, it was thrown pretty hard.
How I mean, do you feel like the average player is going to be able to take that hit okay, or like do you feel like that was too much? Like,
So, like, I feel like if the average player should be able to take that. If not, then
I mean, it was an accident. To be
it's
clear.
an accident. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's something that everybody has to realize. People aren't out there to actually hit you in the face on
Right.
purpose.
No.
If you get hit in the face, yeah, you know it hurts. If you need a second, take that second. But like, come on, we're all adults out there. Grow up. I mean,
Well, most of us.
it's a little hard sometimes, but yeah. I got hit in the temple, and I mean, it was literally like any further, I would have been hit in the eye. But it stung. Yeah, it stung.
And to be
and
fair,
he was
his
very
thrown weapons
apologetic
are made correctly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's foam and birdseed.
Yep.
So,
I mean, I'm glad to see that you know, it only hit the temple, but like you said, you know, it's like we're all adults here. We're all out here to, you know, do what we got to do.
okay.
Yep.
So, do you want to go over combat if we have time?
Yeah, sure. What are we at?
I have
It's
no
probably
idea.
only like 30 minutes or something. I think we're good. 36 minutes. So yeah.
Cool.
So for people who have like, let's pretend that we're talking to somebody that has no idea how combat works.
Okay.
Each section of the body is basically partitioned off as best as we can. And then if you hit that area of the body, well, I guess if it's a limb, you stop using that limb.
Yeah, so basically at
Oh,
your waist,
go ahead.
if you take your like waist down, right? Like that's pretty self-explanatory. Like waist down, if you get hit on either side, you're going to take that leg, which basically means I cannot use that leg any longer. So if I am fighting with my foam swords against North and he hits me in my right leg, I either have to hop on my left leg or just not use that right leg at all anymore.
And definitely don't run. Is the main,
Right.
The
So
main hindrance.
if you do have to move, you can only drag that leg behind you. It can never go in front of the other leg, and that's to slow you down. So that's how that works. And then, of course, if you get hit in the other leg, there's basically no movement unless you basically walk around on your nubs.
Yeah, there's a few options if you lose your legs. It's if you don't want to kneel, nub around, on your knees because you have like sore knees or whatevs. You just have to verbalize that both your legs are gone,
Yeah.
and then you can't move around. You can pivot, but you can't move laterally or whatever the word is.
Right. So that's basically how the legs work. I mean, if you have both legs gone and you get hit in what would be your leg again, you're just dead at that point. You just gotta
Yeah.
make your way off the field or whatever that game permits. Somebody else want to talk about arms? I mean, I feel like
Yeah. Arms are. We said so is up here lethal or?
I think it is.
I
Yeah,
think it's
okay.
lethal.
I always
yeah,
take
we
it
talked
lethal.
about
because
that.
otherwise everybody will take that as an arm basically.
Right.
So the top of so the arms are just the part of that are like sticking out from your body. Like so basically, what is this? Your
It's your shoulder blade.
yeah
Yeah.
Or no, that's not your shoulder
The
blade.
your
rotator
top
cuff.
shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah, your top shoulder muscle is basically the only part that still counts as your arms. It goes from your armpit straight up. If you went from your armpit and just went straight up, that's left over there is your arm. If you get hit in the hand, arm, anywhere in that area, you stop using that hand or arm. If you have a weapon or anything in that arm or in that hand, only in that hand, you have to just drop it. For instance, if you had a blade, if you were holding a sword and you had two hands on it and lost an arm, you could still maintain the one hand, obviously, but you'd have to just immediately take the other hand off. But if you were dual wielding or something and you lost an arm, you just have to drop whatever weapon was in that arm. And if you wanted to still use whatever was in that arm, you'd have to drop whatever you had in the other arm, the good arm that you have left, and then pick that up off the ground, the thing you dropped it initially. And then also, a dead limb can't block a blow, or a limb that's already been hit or damaged can't block a blow that would otherwise hurt you. So, for instance, on your legs, if you had a leg gone and you got hit in the same leg again that you had just lost, as long as enough time has passed, there is actually a rule about it has to have 1 second pass between hits on the same limb. But as long as enough time has passed, then you will, instead of because a dead limb can't block a blow that would otherwise hurt you, would just go through that leg and basically take both legs. And the arms are a little different because torso goes from the bottom of your neck to your waist, and excluding the arms, of course.
And that goes for your back too.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
on the back, right? So like stomach, chest, back. If you have you get hit anywhere there, and it just kills you. Essentially, you get hit there, you're dead. And as I was saying, if you have a limb gone that wouldn't, it can't block a blow that would otherwise hurt you. So if you get hit in a damaged arm, if you have a damaged arm and you get hit in a damaged arm again, then it would just go through and kill you. It'd be like it hitting you in the torso. So, And then if you have both arms gone, you can't do nothing. You just run around. Hopefully you die or something.
Or there are healers in the game that could heal you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
technically.
If you have, and if you have no limbs, you could, okay. So if you get hit in the torso area and you die, or in any situation, like if you had your limbs gone and then they hit the same limb again, killed you, or whatever. We have a few different phases or stages or states that you can be in. So you go from when you die, you do bleeding out, which is 10 seconds minimum and maximum of your level times 10. So you can stay there longer the higher level you get. And the reason why is because there are abilities that only can be enacted or can only be used on you, or you can only use when you're in the bleeding out state. And then after you get done bleeding out, you stand up, you put your weapons on your head, and you walk to, and during that state, you're considered a ghost. And then you walk to, for some games might only have one life, but if the game has multiple lives, we have a resurrection area, which you just stand inside. It's like a circle on the ground, and you stand inside that, and it has a motion sensor that plays like a little sound, and when that sound gets done playing, it signifies that you can resurrect and you're fully healed and you can go back out again, depending on the game and how many lives and whatever you have. And then head and neck don't count, of course, so nobody should be aiming for the head or the neck. Does anybody want to go over a few calls? Anybody want to do that part? Or you want me to just keep going?
What do you mean specific
Calls about like what you would do if you did get hit in the neck and head and neck, and then also
I
into the
gotcha.
grazes.
Okay,
is the
sure,
only
yeah.
the only other thing.
I mean, I'm. If somebody else wants to do that, go ahead.
Okay, so I know that we have I kind of botched it one week. If you get hit in, say, the head or the neck or in the genitals, just that person alone will say caution.
Can say.
Yes,
They don't
say.
have to.
They don't have
themselves,
to,
right.
but they will let the other player know, hey, you got my head or my face or my neck, or
It's if they're hurt.
if they're extremely hurt, then it's just caution, and that person, the other player will just stop, so that we can give that other player
Some
that they
room.
called caution a little room. He can, if that player says caution, then the other player can back off. He can walk away, whatever. But you cannot say caution and then the other player turn around and then you stab him. You can't do that.
Right. Actually, it says in the I think it says in the rules that
Yes.
when you call caution, you have to re-enter via the resurrection point. So when
Yes, it
people are
does.
calling caution, they're supposed to, even if they only have one life, they go to the sideline and then they re-enter via the resurrection point so that they can take however much time they need to recover, and they're not doing it in the middle of the battlefield. But I understand sometimes people can't move to the side of the battlefield immediately either, but so it's kind of a gray area. But it does say in the rule books that if you need a second to step out, that as long as you don't step out for more than 5 minutes, you can just re-enter via the resurrection point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, like some of us wear glasses. If you get hit, in the temple or whatever, and your glasses fly off, it's immediately, caution glasses.
Yeah, specifically.
And that way, whoever's in that vicinity can stop and be like, okay, I'm going to help you look for your glasses because I did it, whatever, whatever you feel like. But in that vicinity alone, we do not want to pause the full game unless it is like a straight up, hey, everybody needs to stop. Maybe there's something we need to
emergency.
announce.
Yeah, there's a call for that. It's emergency.
Yeah. So that's, we try to keep the game flowing so that, everybody is still, amped up. And also there's one graze, which we did go over in a previous episode. And graze is literally where, if somebody strikes an opponent on their blade or a shield or something like that, and it may, slide
Maintains
up.
contact.
It maintains contact, but slides up onto a limb or whatnot. That is a graze, and so we allow them just to say, okay, let's step back.
If they want to. Some people,
if
you
they
can
want
take
to.
it if you
Yeah.
want to, but
A lot of the honorable players, they'll take it. I've seen North, I've seen him take it. Also, it's there has been some confusion about if we actually had it today where somebody called it a nip. I was like, what's a nip?
Yeah.
And he pulled at his garb, and we're like, oh, that's garb. But it has been talked about that if somebody does hit that person's garb,
Just their garb.
just their garb alone, okay, it's garb. If it would actually hit that player, if the garb didn't stop it,
Right.
then that person would have to take that hit. Because technically, if you were actually in a battle, you would essentially have that strike. So that's some of the calls that we have. And again, we have emergency for a straight up, emergency where, say we need to call a 9-line medevac, and
We've never had to do that. Knock on
right,
wood.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
So-
what we've been, I think we've been here since like 2012, roughly. So, and to my knowledge, there has been some injuries, but never anything that required calling an ambulance. Thankfully.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I don't know
with
that there's
that, I
ever-
think it's
That
a
there hasn't
great
been
job.
an injury that kept someone away for very long.
Oh no.
Even the most recent one, he was back out after a
yeah.
couple weeks. So
He was out this week.
Yep.
So I think that's an attestation. I think that's the word I'm looking for.
yeah,
For North and the moderators of being able to run a safe game. So, hey, kudos to you.
I
Good
mean,
sir.
I genuinely believe that safety is the number one priority that we try to achieve at Phlarp.
100%.
I mean,
Well-
especially when it's a combat type situation.
And I agree with that because, I mean, this is about the only one that I've noticed that actually does weapon checks every single week, every first game that we go out at. They check the weapons every single time, and that's a safety thing, like people feel safer if you're checking the weapons every week.
I think it's
Yeah.
one of those classic I'd rather be proactive than reactive
Yes.
situations. Like some of those other groups, they'll wait until somebody gets hurt by a weapon to be like, oh, we got to take out this weapon. Well, we want to catch it before somebody gets hurt. That seems like
Exactly.
a terrible idea.
100%.
So,
100%.
yeah, and a lot of that too. I mean, there is a fair amount of chance too. Like, I mean, I guess people could have gotten hurt potentially, but I'm sure some of it does have to do with the fact that obviously that there are rules that surround safety. So,
sure.
thanks.
Nothing's foolproof, but I feel like
right.
we do a good job.
I agree.
And then just the last part of that was the only other thing I could think of with just like basic combat or whatever is hands. The only other thing is, and this kind of falls into the last category of grazes. If you hit slide down a person's weapon and hit their hand, that doesn't count either if you don't want it to, as long as you call graze. But an open hit to the hand where where it doesn't hit, a weapon or anything else, there's no question as to whether it was like hit, directly on their hand, then they have to take that. So that does count. And then the only other thing I could think of was double hits. We kind of call them double kills, but sometimes it's not always a kill. Like if I hit, take Rand's arm as he's killing me, and we can't tell who hit who first, then we would both take it. I would be dead, and his arm would also be gone, even though he killed me with the arm. It'd be like kind of same time thing. So, yeah, I guess that's basic combat, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, that's basic combat. And then the other parts of combat, I feel like you'd almost have to be there in order to understand it entirely. We do have bows and arrows, but they're LARP safe. And we have
Different types of weapons.
wizards with throwy packets and stuff like that. But again, all of this stuff has been safely tested. It's not like we're going out there and throwing rocks at people and shooting sharp arrows at people. This is pretty safe stuff. So,
I mean, there are times where, I do want to pick up a rock or a stick and throw it at Brandon because,
sure. That makes sense.
and I'm sure he does the same for me constantly.
No, I'm not violent.
Make sure to aim for his head. That way I don't count.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the only way,
Right.
Yeah.
Because safety first.
Right. It seemed like I was thinking of something else, and now I forgot it. So I guess I'll just.
My great grandmother used to say, if you were going to say something, you said, "Oh, sorry, I forgot what I was going to say." She used to say it was probably a lie. So
Well, I've heard. I've heard it must not have been that important, but
I've heard that
Yeah.
too. I'm just telling you what my great-grandma said.
I mean, coming from north, though, it really must not have been that important.
Right. I mean, that's fair. Is there, I mean, I think we have time. Is there anything else you wanted to discuss today about, whatever? Hey,
No, not really.
I will say this.
I'll try to remember what I was going to say. but
The
that's
very
fine.
first episode we did, we talked about potentially giving like homework for each other for something to like talk about on the podcast, like movies and stuff like that are like, oh, you remembered. You're
No,
not going to cut
no.
me off. Sir.
No, I didn't remember. It was something else.
But anyway, I think we should pick some kind of movie for us all to watch this week. Something to talk about potentially. Maybe ideas that we can like see in these movies or something we can bring into our
Yeah,
own life.
someone tell me a LARP movie I haven't seen, and I'll go watch it.
Oh, jeez.
How do we know if you've not seen it?
Say LARP movies.
I don't know like 2 LARP movies, man. Like Role Models, I
And
know everyone's
Knights of
seen that.
Badassdom.
And Knights of Badassdom. That's the one with Peter Dinklage, right?
Right. Yeah.
I have yet to see that,
He's
so
like,
I
"I got
think
a
I'm going to have to
pound
go
of
watch that.
shrooms."
What's it on?
Goodness,
I don't know
even
what it would be on.
I could find it, but I don't know if I could
He
help
goes-
you find it.
He goes, I got a pound of shrooms and there be monsters need slaying.
I could watch that movie this week. If you guys want to watch that one again.
All right. I
Knights of
haven't watched it in
Badassdom?
forever. So.
I haven't either. I don't even really remember what the movie's about.
I will have to do some.
If I find
serious
out
digging.
when I look to watch it myself, if I figure out what like service it's on, like what streaming service or whatever, I'll let you know.
Awesome.
I would for some reason or another.
Oh.
I want to say try Hulu. I don't know why, but if you have Hulu, try it.
Those that have listened the entire time to get this.
Oh, yeah, the magic word.
Yeah, the magic.
The
word.
magic word.
Also, hold on.
Okay.
There were some people that came in today screaming this word. You know who you are if you listen to this. We are not doing that. This is like a on the down low, hush hush. You had to have watched the podcast in order to get this.
Yeah, like if there's more than me and you around when you're telling me this, say,
Yeah.
hey, can I talk to you for a second? And
Yeah,
get me
yeah,
away
yeah.
from everyone.
Yeah.
Or just do like I did and just walk up to them and look them intently in the eye and just say the word.
As long as there's a bunch of people around.
Yeah.
Because whenever they did that to me, there was your brother was around and he's like, what? He's like, sassafras. What's that? Nothing.
That was at the end of the day, though.
Yeah.
So, like, everybody was already leaving when I did that.
All right, so I think I got a word. Well, it's actually a series of
Oh.
words, but you've taken it like the
All
last
right.
3
Yes.
times.
Dude, I had a good one.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
All right.
It was debatably good. It might not have been that
This
good.
is not good, but it's
Okay.
still what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Hit me with it.
commandeered it.
This week's code words are going to be Powder Puff Girls.
Okay.
Dun dun dun.
So if you say, come up to us while you're logging in and let us know the code word, we will mark you.
Code
for-
words, technically.
Code words. Yeah, true.
Plural.
Yep.
We will mark you for an extra game. So,
Perfect.
Awesome.
And to be fair, there was like 5 people today that said the word.
yeah, which
Which-
is better than last week.
Yeah. Of
Yes.
which was 0 last
Yeah.
week.
Rand
That's
said he
'cause I
would have
wasn't
done
out.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
but he
that's
wasn't
fair.
there, so.
Even the person that was on the podcast didn't say the word.
Fail.
Epic fail. But that's okay. All right.
I think it's cool. Yeah. So, is there anything that you want to talk about?
Or
fair.
shout out or anything.
Well, I mean, I would like to know if we have a definitive time that you're going to introduce more RP into the game. Like, have you finished any of that stuff, like the other races and?
I haven't been pursuing the races anymore, although the 3 that we had out last time will eventually be the first ones re-released this time.
Yeah.
Which
so
was
Barbarian.
what, Barbarian,
Halfling.
Halfling, and what was
Orc.
the last Orc?
Oh, yeah, Orc. Was that it? I guess that was it.
I guess that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was about it. Besides the the Shadow Elf, and I don't think that was
Well, I don't think
actually
we
something
got
that
into
was
that or anything. yeah.
particular, I guess.
And then the other thing that I'm working on that would be role-play oriented would be a sort of a Wandering Monsters game where
Yeah.
instead of signing up as Wandering Monsters, there's like a team of Wandering Monsters, and then they have a specific goal. But at the end of the game, you give all your tokens back, no matter who has what tokens. And the monsters, how much extra XP they would get would be based on how many tokens they turn back in. They didn't get looted, and they will be able to get additional tokens than what they started out with by raiding the town. So there'll be
Okay.
a thing in the town that they have to loot, and if they manage to loot that,
Like
they can end up with more than what they.
Like the probably the town coppers or something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a little just like a little chest with some money in it, and then when you open it, it'll have an alarm on it. So when you break the seal to open it, it'll start going really loud, so that everybody knows that you guys are you're not rezzing, that you're looting the thing. I might even put one of the motion sensor things on it so they don't count themselves. Yeah, that helps people not rush the counts. Yes.
So I would like to.
Do you have something, Brandon?
I do have something. So I will say this: I feel like there's only so much that we can do as moderators at the park in order to increase the role play.
Yeah.
Like, we can give out XP for it. We can create games kind of like North's talking about right now. But I feel like this would be my advice to you if I were in your shoes right now. What you did today was a great start.
Oh, yeah.
With that being said, there's not going to be a lot of people that are willing to attack a group of 6.
Exactly.
So, like, if it were me,
maybe
I would spend more time. Yeah. I would send out like groups of 2 or something. You may have a better opportunity of people actually trying to role play with you out there, which would be great because I want some clan conflict. Like, I am ready for that.
I just got a notification on my computer that literally said the monster in the vent, and then it said the food is done. I have no idea.
The monster in the vent.
How she sent me that?
I don't know. That's pretty tight, though.
That is awesome. You know what, Rachel?
And it had a little
shout out to Rachel.
out.
Shout out to Rachel.
I don't even know how she did that.
But anyway, that was what I would do. I would meander around in probably groups of 2, try to get some people to attack you, possibly create some like rival clans or whatever it is you got to do. But like, I feel like it's almost as much or more on you right now to create role play than it is on us.
And like I said, before, that was a big step in that direction, of pushing people to actually try to get out in the campaign to actually push for more role play. Because I know that there's been a lot of people that's asked about it, and I was like, you kind of have to push in that direction yourself if you're wanting to do that.
100%.
And I mean, it's 100%. A lot of the role play is going to be generated by the players, and if you want that role play out there, then you need to get up and actually go do it. Some of it is on the moderators when it comes to storyline to further certain things, but like, if you want to generate role play, then your best bet is to get out there and do it yourself.
And really, that's what kind of we had decided too, as because we were talking about that one time on one of them. I don't remember if it was one we aired or not. I can't remember.
I think it was.
We were talking about what can we do, and a lot of basically the only you can't make somebody role play.
No.
So all you can do is facilitate it.
Do it yourself
as much as possible by doing it yourself. Make it easy for them to be able to do. So whenever, like, say Chris is out there doing trying to rally people up and stuff, try to do your best to jump on that bandwagon. That'd be about all I could say.
I'm pretty sure that was last campaign or last podcast with.
That we were talking
Greg,
about that.
Yeah.
And we'll try to do that too whenever we're introduced. Did somebody knock?
Yeah.
What's up?
Rachel wanted me to let you know that it's done.
Okay. Somehow I know. I don't know how. Anyway. Okay. Thank you.
That was Argus Greenwood.
Yep. The monster in the vent.
The monster in the vent has sent the messenger.
Yeah.
Anyway, that would be my advice. And the only other thing that I could possibly think of, and this is not me saying anything, we'd have to have a whole discussion about it, is that if we set a game up for like on the hour, like let's say we got there, we did our costume contest, our last man standing or whatever, and let's say it was 1:40 when we were done with all that. Maybe we don't call another game till 2:00, and it's understood that that time in between each event and the upcoming hour is campaign time.
Yeah, I do think that people need to know that because
I'm not saying for sure that that's something we're doing. I'm just saying that's an idea.
Maybe we could could we get like, say, like a bell and it's be like, after the event's over, be like, all right, event's over, so-and-so won, campaign's active, like all at the same time.
I think you give people obviously an opportunity to get back to the tavern if they don't want involved. But yeah, I mean, maybe we could use the drum for that. Is that something we could use the drum for?
Yep.
Sure.
Or your horn or something like that. I'm sure we could come up with something.
And just do that whole thing in character too. Be like,
oh yeah,
it's a warning, let you know
absolutely.
Yep.
I think we could start doing that this upcoming week even.
Yeah, I agree.
Also, I'm gonna keep trying to keep candy on me to be able to loot too, so you can let people know that. Like, I'll go try to fight with you guys.
Yeah.
Even though, I know you guys probably kill me, but
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah.
if other people see us doing that, though, maybe it'll encourage
Yeah,
them.
exactly. Especially if you see the moderators actually going out to actually participate in role play with other clan members, that's gonna show that hey, even they are trying to actually spark role play, even if they're just going out there and getting killed. I mean, it's still the same sense of they're actually stepping up to go out there and do stuff. Maybe then you should actually try to do it as well.
I think that's right.
And I think it'd be like for me anyway, because I don't fight very much. It'd be kind of a fun little game if whenever we called events, if they had us go get you guys, like we were talking about that one time about how people used to spread so far out that you had to go get them. I'd be fine with that I'll go out there like fighting campaign or whatever, to go tell you guys. Oh, did you have something, Chris?
I'll wait till you're done. Go ahead.
No, I was done. I was pretty much done.
I do want to send a shout out to Raven and Sureknik.
Surednik.
Thank you. They were looting each other. And I mean,
Oh, yeah.
they didn't have anything, so Sir Ednick was like, "Well, there goes my beanie," and he was about to lose like all of his clothes,
And it was, again,
It was cold.
cold.
Yeah.
it was cold. I mean, it.
And they were having a good time with it. That's really
They were
the important
They
thing.
were, and I mean, it was good role play. It was good sense of looting. So I mean, it's like that's one thing. Also, another thing, Lord
Good
Rand.
sportsmanship.
When I do Last Man, I don't know if you could clearly hear what I was trying to say. I was like, give me a beat.
Yeah, no, I heard you.
Yeah. So if you can have Black Rose, because it's mainly Black Rose that does it, give me a beat.
Yeah.
That way I can kind of, because you know how I am. That beat will totally amp me up, and then I'll get fired up, and then I'm trying to get everybody else fired up. So that's another thing. And one last thing for Davine and North is, have we agreed upon the name of the capital?
Oh, I haven't shouted out yet. No, but we haven't had any other suggestions whatsoever. So I say we name it right now. Anybody object to
Darvishan.
that? All right.
Darvishan.
It's
Is it Shan?
Shan.
or
Darvishan.
Darvishan. Okay.
Not
Darvishan.
Sean. Darvishan.
I got it.
Do
Darvishan.
you?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Darvishan.
See?
Just kidding.
See? You're terrible. Yeah, make sure you pull up your outro because,
I probably will.
So
Do we
wait,
have a roleplay reason why we would not have known that until now? Just
What?
out of curiosity.
What?
The name of the
The
town.
name of
Is
the
there a way we
capital?
can do
No, we
that?
just named it.
Oh, we just. we
There
just
was
say
not
we
a
named-
name. We named it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We could just say it
we're-
was a settlement until now, and then we finally decided that it's a town with the amount of people that we have.
Oh, I don't know.
we need a. Oh, well, we don't have it on us, but, the gavel has been laid down. So, all right, good
you go.
job. So, in the books, Darvishan.
Okay.
All right, cool.
And I guess that's all we got for today. We're at an hour and 2, so.
Cool. Well,
I'm going to do a shout out to our Patreon, even though that might be in the intro. Is that what you were saying? Make
yeah,
sure
I
to
was
shout out
asking if you were
Patreon.
going to do a Patreon at the end as well.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and shout it out. Shout out to our 2 Patrons. They're sitting right here. To
Yep.
Brandon
that's me.
Fraser and
What?
Chris
Who?
White. Eric the Red? I don't know.
I'm Eric the Red.
Eric the Red?
North?
He's our other,
Jeez.
our
I'm going to
other-
be honest. Brandon Fraser definitely paid for the Patreon.
I mean, my alter ego is Superman. I mean, Chris White.
And
yeah.
also, Rand has paid yearly, so his support is appreciated as well.
Right,
so.
right.
100%. I'm still waiting on Dobie to get my carrots.
They're out there, man. You just got to find them.
I'm telling you.
You gotta get in the bushes. You might find them.
All right. Well, is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
That's
So
it.
that's
right,
all I
guys.
got.
Well, we hope you keep listening.
And we hope you keep fighting in the name of our capital, Darvishan.
And good day to you all.
Bye.